Good evening, everybody. I hope you are having an amazing day. Tonight, we're going to be talking about taking practical steps to upgrade your life. And guess what? It's easier than you think when you just follow a simple process. So we're going to have just stick around. We've got some great tips, some stuff to share with you. I think you're going to find value in this night. Okay, so my name is Jason, for those of you who don't know me, and we're just sitting out here on the patio. It's a little warm, so we didn't actually turn the fire pit on tonight. It's a little warm, and I'm sitting here tonight. We have with us the one and only, the amazing Josiah Phillips, my son, and we also have with us his mother, Rochelle Phillips. And tonight, she has the Queen shirt on, and I have the King shirt on, so... We like to play king and queen, yeah. So, okay, we want to talk about with you, and we're just going to have a discussion tonight, about upgrading your life, okay? So you were created, all of us, we were all created to be awesome. We are God's wonderful workmanship, okay? We are God's delight. And, a little over a year ago, I'll just tell you part of my story for a second, because I think you can relate, okay? A little over a year ago, I'm going to turn the audio down. I feel like I'm a little hot on the mic there, so I'm going to turn that down a little bit. A little over a year ago, I realized that I was continually, every year, gaining a little weight. I was snoring. I didn't have energy. I was having more sinus problems and this and that. And I felt like I was losing ground on my health. And I didn't like that. And I made a decision that, you know what? I've got a lot of life to live. And Jesus said that He came that we would have an abundant life. And I made a decision that I was just getting started. And from there, everything began to change. It started with a belief and a commitment, and then living it out. And so a lot of times, we have faith and we believe in God, but we don't always know how to practically implement our faith. And, sometimes when we talk about our faith, a lot of times we're talking about, going out and telling people about Jesus, and that's amazing, and that's very, very important, right? But we also need to practically live out our faith so that we can shine the light, right? I was thinking about this earlier. I'm like, well, what if Jesus was a terrible carpenter? What kind of glory would that give God if Jesus was a terrible carpenter? Obviously, you have to start somewhere, right? I feel like we need to be shining examples in the pursuit of excellence in serving the Lord. And I wanted to be vibrant, filled with life and vitality and living, and I just didn't feel like I was headed in that direction. So my life changed, upgraded significantly in a very short period of time, but a little over a year. I consider that a very short period of time, and I want to share this with you, not so you can say, oh man, Jason did that. I want to share this with you because I think you can relate to the situation I was dealing with. And I want to tell you how I did it, and I want to give you hope. And my prayer is that you're inspired to upgrade your life and to live your life out loud and be all, do all, have all that God has for you. That's what this is about. So, I want to share with you. I recently did a post about, Josiah and I. We finished 365 consecutive workouts, right? And which I'm astonished that we did that. I'm glad we did that. With Josiah, when we first started out, we're like thinking, okay, can we make it through 30 days? Well, then after a couple days into it, we're like, can we make it through this week? It was really hard, right? But but we, you know, I had a significant transformation in my health, in my weight, in my my muscle and fat percentage, and my stamina and all that, as well as you did too, Josiah. But the point I want to make here is that it started on the inside, and what's visible on the outside is simply the manifestation or the fruit of what already happened on the inside. And sometimes we want to try to produce fruit when what we need to do is water the roots, right? And so I thought we might just talk about that for a minute. I'm just getting started, and Josiah, obviously, you just turned 21. Mm-hmm. You're just getting started. How do you feel? Compared to a year ago, how do you feel compared to a year ago?
Oh gosh, completely different. Life is so much more fun when everyday things aren't a struggle. So, for instance, running up the stairs. I could run up and down the stairs 20 times and barely be out of breath right now, versus a year ago doing it once and I'd be huffing and puffing. And I volunteer with a youth group at church all the time. And at youth group, you do physical activities every week. The most recent one, we were a small group, and some of the kids decided, we want to climb this tree. So obviously I got to test the branches for them and show them how to climb the tree. And just being able to do those things on a whim is so nice. I recently got into mountain biking. Here's a wound to prove it. And that's something I wouldn't have been able to do a year ago. Just hopping on a bike and going out and having fun. It would have been horrible, and I would have hated it. But now I can have fun in areas that previously I couldn't.
Wow, that's pretty cool. I kind of feel the same way. In that my energy level. But really, tonight, what I want to share and talk to you about is really not just about losing weight or being necessarily physically healthy. That's just one example, because if we're gonna live our best lives, obviously health is a part of that, right? Relationships is a part of that. Our spiritual self, our emotional self, our mind, our finances, all of that is very important. And tonight we're just using one single example, but the first thing I believe that we really need to start with is our belief system. If we say, hey, I'm going to start, well, gosh, what did I do? You know what? I'm going to start a diet. Guess what, guys? I finished a 30-day diet in 2 days and 6 hours. That's how quick I was, right? Yeah, kind of a joke. But because I didn't reform my identity, and when I reimagined my identity, and what I like to say is that I synchronized my internal identity of myself with who God sees me as. And when I began to do that, everything began to change the way I did things. Okay, so the first thing was I changed my identity. I upgraded my identity, and maybe a better way to say that is I restored my identity to my new creation identity that God gave me, right? And from there, it's about, okay, I'm on it now. That's who I am. So now my mind and my thinking changed. And then when my mind and my thinking changed, I'm still not quite there yet. So I'm looking down at my screen here for a second. I've got just a few notes. Some of the help me with this. Sometimes we tell ourselves things. We talk to ourselves. Our words have power, and a lot of times the words we speak to ourselves, we just speak internally. We don't necessarily speak them out loud. But we say things and then we live them out. What comes out of your mouth will come into your life, right? So, false thinking. Think about this. There was a day when I would say to myself, oh man, I can't live without bread. I can't live without sugar. I can't live without, Tostitos tortilla chips. And I run into people that still say those kind of things. And I'm not trying to tell you have to give those up, okay? But we already have made a decision that we can't do something before we know what's on the other side of it. Does that make sense? So, and I know I'm doing all the talking right now, but I want to hear from you guys as well. But just coming back to, do you believe what God says about you? Jesus said, I came that they may have life and have it more abundantly. It's the thief that comes to steal and kill and destroy, right? The word says that God delights over us to prosper us. Do you believe that? Like when you close your eyes, do you think, wow, God delights to prosper me? He delights over me to prosper me. He wants me to have an abundant life. He wants me to have an abundant life. Can you feel that when you close your eyes? Or when you close your eyes, are you thinking about all the bad stuff you've done? All your shortcomings? All the times you didn't live up to what you think you should live up to? It's like it's like you're driving down the road and you're looking at life in the rearview mirror. And what happens when you try to drive forward looking in the rearview mirror? Well, you crash, right? So aligning your beliefs with who God says you are is the foundation of all of this. It's the foundation of all of it. And then from there, it transforms your thinking. The Bible says, be transformed by the renewing of your mind. And if we can, when we renew our minds, our lives begin to be transformed, and we begin to do what I call living out loud, which is going and doing and becoming all that God has for us. Because, each one of us are made with unique gifts and a calling, and God has prepared good works for each of us to do that we need to do. And we need to be of sound mind. We need to be healthy and fit and vibrant. But maybe you feel like, well, I've let it go too far. I've messed up too many times. I haven't taken care of my health. I haven't taken care of my relationships. I haven't taken care of my finances or my career or whatever it is. Or maybe I've got a bad reputation. You know what? You can't fix what is in the past, but what you can do is you can dream a new dream. You can start again. I heard a quote recently, and it's been ringing with me, and it was this. When's the best time to plant a tree? Well, the best time to plant a tree is 5 or 10 years ago. When's the second best time to plant a tree? Today is the second best time. So you can still do it. And it doesn't matter what age you are. It's not too late to refresh your dreams, to renew your dreams, okay? And to get in touch with your purpose that God has made for you, that God has made you for. So, if you try to do something out of pure willpower, it's only going to last so long. Willpower is like a bottle rocket in my mind. It's going to go, it's going to take off fast, go a little ways, and then pop. But when you start with a belief of, this is my identity, this is who I am, everything else begins to fall into place. Okay, so I want to talk about the practical things. There were, Rochelle, Josiah, you guys were absolutely key in my life on living out practically what I felt I needed to do. Okay, I had the belief, I had the mindset, but at the same time, my environment needed an upgrade. Okay, and Rochelle, I want to talk to you first because if it wasn't for you helping with not helping, but really just taking charge of my nutrition, then I don't know if I would have had the success that I've had. And it's important for the people around us to support us. So just for those of you that don't know, what I did is I went on a low carb, low sugar diet, similar to keto. Wasn't keto, but I grew up on carbs and sugars. Period. And this was a dramatic change. So Rochelle, when it came time to do this, let's just say we've got people out there that are listening and they're like, yes, I know I need to do that, but I don't know where to start. I don't know what to do. Well, I would say talk to Rochelle because you're the one that knows what to do. Would you share?
Sure. So I guess one of the first thing is that you need to do is, like he was saying, is get your mind right, because for years and years I've always tried to do this, try this lifestyle, try that lifestyle. Will he eat this? Will he eat that? And trying to figure out ways to help him, but I couldn't make him do it. And until he changed his mind that he really wanted to be different and have different things for himself, nothing changed. It actually, he would just eat more junk. I don't know where he was getting it from because I wasn't buying it. Because whenever we go on something that I'm the type of person that when I see something and I want to do it, I'm in 100%. So the first thing that I did was when I got my best friend Jorge. He's not really my best friend. He doesn't even know who I am, but I promote him all the time. So anyways, The Belly Fat Cure by Jorge Cruz. This is the one book that out of all the different things that I tried that actually worked and was sustainable for not just Jason but the whole family, because when I cook for him and whatever he is trying, new lifestyle he's trying, the whole family goes on it together. So I'm not cooking like 7 different meals for 7 different people. So whatever I make, that's what everybody eats. But the first thing I did was, after I read this and understood what I was doing, I went through the pantry and I went through the refrigerator and the freezer and I took out everything that was not supposed to be had. So we just switched out. We didn't throw away the bread. Well, I donated a lot of things, but a lot of it was just switching out this bread for that bread. So we used up what we had, and then the next time I went to the store, I just bought the bread we were supposed to have instead of the bread I had been buying. So some of it's about donating and just getting rid of it and getting it out of being in front of you. If you don't buy it and you don't have it in your pantry, you're not going to be tempted to eat it. So the ice cream I make from scratch. Chips, we don't really have chips anymore. It's just, everything in this book is super simple. He lays it all out. You don't have to think about what you're doing. He has a whole week's worth of menus with all of the food that you need to buy. He explains everything so simply. And if you want this book, there's a link in this, right? You put the link in? Yeah, he put the link in so you can click on this and go get it for yourself. But this is the easiest way, and if you have any questions, you can always message me. I love helping people. I love seeing people get healthy, feel better. I know Jason and Josiah work out every day, and that is huge and that's super important. But the first thing after you get your mind right, the next thing is changing how you eat. And working out will come later when you feel better, when you have more energy, when you're not sluggish, when you're not so tired. You don't even have to work out hard like they work out hard. But if you just walk 20 minutes a day, get your heart rate up a little bit, it's a great place to start. Then you're going to feel, later, like maybe I want to go on a bike ride, or maybe I want to go run around in the park with the kids, or, there's lots of different things out there activity-wise that you'll feel like doing just because you'll feel better on the inside. Not only your mind, but your body will start to change as well and catch up with your mind. So
That's really good, Rochelle. You know, one of the things that I appreciate about the book, although I didn't do any of the cooking, but everything's pre-thought out for you.
Right.
You don't even have to think about it. You just look through it, and it's like going to the Chinese restaurant. There's pictures of all the food in there. You just flip through the pages and pick the picture you want, and there's the instructions on how to make it.
Yeah.
Show an example.
So here's an example. So he shows you belly bad and belly good. So this is what it looks like if you were to, I don't know where you got this from. Oh, this is from Uno Chicago Grill. And this has 20 sugars and 4 carbs. And he does the carbs in a scale. So 4 isn't a literal 4. But if you get the book and you need help with the scale, I can help you with the scale. So this side has 20 sugars and 4 carbs. This meal right here, and this is one of my kids' favorites, and his too. But this one has 3 sugars and 2 carbs. So it's just a matter of changing little things. And look at how much, like, this looks really good. It is super good. The kids love this one. And, oh, this one too. This is Samara's fiance's, one of his favorite meals that I've made. This is it's actually doesn't have meat in it, which is really weird because usually enchiladas have lots of meat in them, but this one doesn't even need it. It's so good. But it's an enchilada. So basically this is the belly bad right here. 10 sugar, 6 carbs. This one's 3 sugars, 2 carbs. So it's really good. You don't have to sacrifice taste for being on a diet. This isn't a diet. This is a lifestyle. This isn't keto. You don't have to be on it for a little bit of time and then get off of it. This right here is a brand new lifestyle, and it works for most people. If you say you've been on every diet out there, you've got to go in 100%. Whatever it is that you do, if it is keto and that's what you want to do, or if it's the Atkins diet, or if it's whatever it is, pick out what you want to do. I just know that this works for our family. You do what you need to do, but I suggest you going in 100% because life isn't worth wasting your time on anything if you're not going to do it. That's right. 100%.
That's right. You know, so you may be asking why low carb and low sugar. I'm not going to necessarily get into that, but let me tell you what. In the first 30 days that we were on this, I lost 18 pounds. That's more than half a pound per day. Wow. And it just kept falling off. And the food is delicious.
Yeah,
the food is delicious.
So here's a burger. That burger has 2 patties on it. So this one is belly bad is 24 sugars and 4 carbs. And this one is a Wild West bacon burger. You can have bacon, you can have bread, you can have meat. This is 2 sugars, 2 carbs. So this looks way better than this to me anyway. And everything that I've tried in this book, you know, Jorge's really wonderful. He teaches you how to do ice cream, brownies, everything. It's all in here, and it's so good, and it's not hard to do. If you enjoy cooking, it's new recipes.
So okay, so let's get an unbiased opinion here for a second. Okay, let's ask Josiah. Okay, come on, what do you think about the various meals? Obviously, Mom's always trying something new,
right,
in the recipes because she loves to try something new. She's like Dexter in her laboratory in here in the kitchen. And you don't know, but so sometimes she gets winners and sometimes losers, right? That's just part of trying things new.
Yeah, there's a couple things that I don't like, and I think one of the breakfast items in there is a bowl of cottage cheese.
Yeah.
And I tried that one time and never again. But you just have to kind of find and know like what you don't like, and there's so many other options in there that you can choose from. On the belly fat cure, you're never hungry. That's something that's really important because when you get hungry, you're more inclined to go for the higher calorie snacks and the junk food.
That's true.
So being on the belly fat cure is really good because you're not hungry all the time.
So Josiah, a lot of people think that healthy food tastes bad.
No, I think you could probably say healthy food is more expensive, because what I've noticed a lot is the main substance of the food isn't bad. Like that slab of meat for your steak is not bad for you. It's the sugar sauce they pour on top of it that's bad.
Right.
So you've got to be able to look at the label in the store and recognize what's actually in your food. And you don't have to change, like I said, you don't have to change that meat. That meat is good. You just got to change what you're dressing it with. And it's the same thing with the burger. You just got to change what you're putting on top of it, and it really helps you cut down on that.
Right. Would you say it's more expensive?
I think it depends. I think, are you willing to spend more money on going to a doctor and getting diabetic medicine, or are you willing to change a few things in your diet to get healthier?
How about takeout every day?
I mean, takeout, it can
That's
be
not
cheap.
cheap.
You can go to McDonald's and get a $1 cheeseburger pretty cheap, but what are you fueling your body with? What are you putting in there? What are you expecting to get out of it? And then after a $1 burger from McDonald's, are you going to be hungry in 30 minutes?
Right.
So there is a trade-off. It's worth your time. It's worth your effort. It's worth your energy to put your best into yourself, into your life. God didn't die. Jesus didn't die on a cross for us to give him second best. And if we do shortcut, on our end that we know that we have control over what we put in our mouth. Every time we sit down and eat, we have a choice. And it's all about choices and what choice are you going to make. And it's not easy all the time. I get it. But like Josiah was saying, he's not hungry on belly fat. And that's one of the biggest things is why people snack is because they get hungry. But if you're not hungry, you're satisfied, you don't need to worry about that. So the cost is I think it's negotiable. You can say, yeah, it does cost more to eat this way, but if you're satisfied, you're not eating snacks. Snacks are expensive, and they're not filling, high in calories, high in carbs, high in sugars, high in all the bad things. So if that's the trade-off that you want to look at, then what you're putting into your body is what you're getting out. It's just like what you watch on TV, what goes in, what comes out, what you read, what you see, what you do. All of it matters.
So, I used to say this, and I recognize when other people say it. I just can't lose weight. Okay? So, I've never said this to someone, but I've wanted to say it because I've said it to myself. So I'm just going to say it to everybody right now. If you think you can't lose weight, if you stopped eating, would you eventually lose weight? So somewhere between what you're currently putting in your mouth and eating zero is where your solution is, right? That's just the cold, hard truth. That's just truth. You are in control of what you put in your mouth. Nobody has handcuffs on you, and they're force feeding you like a duck with foie gras or whatever. Okay. That's the truth of it. But the problem is, we try to fix our eating, but we still have a bad identity, understanding of our identity. Well, I've always been unhealthy. I've always been fat. My parents died young. My parents are unhealthy. My whole family's heavy, sick, whatever it is. Whether you're too fat, too thin, too short, too tall, whatever it is, you get to be in control. Not of your height, and you're not of your height, okay? But you're in control of what you put in your mouth. And so, we're talking a lot about health and diet right now, because that's just a huge transformation that's, happened with Josiah and I. And I'm just, wow, I just want to shout it from the mountaintops. Man, come with me. My life is so much better. I didn't even realize how much energy I didn't have until I got it. I didn't realize that, one day, I reached down to tie my shoes, and I'm like, oh, my leg didn't squish the air out of my lungs because my belly was in the way. Okay? I'm like, oh, I just kneed myself in the jaw in accident. I have a different problem, right? and my life is so much better. And I know that there's a lot of my friends out there that you want that too. And instead of striving and pursuing a goal, see, like goals are great, okay? But you have to work hard for a goal. But here's the beautiful thing about habits. Habits happen, that's why they're called habits. You don't think about doing them. They just almost happen automatically, right? And when you have the right habits, you start achieving your goals almost on autopilot. I won't say completely on autopilot, but they say, psychologists say that about 90% of everything we do happens without conscious thinking. We don't have to tell ourselves to breathe while we're sleeping or our heartbeat or any of that stuff, right? It happens. And the more we can set our lives up to make it easy and obvious to do the right thing. Okay, for instance, that book, The Belly Fat Cure, was a missing piece that had it all laid out. The food was delicious, and it made the dietary part practically, the practical part of it, it made it pretty easy and obvious how to eat and what to do, right? So how about other things in our lives? If we can set ourselves up to make it obvious. There's a book that I read, I've read it like 3 times now. It's an amazing book, and it's called Atomic Habits. I think I've got it right here. It's right here. It's Atomic Habits by James Clear. Maybe you've read that book, but that book right there really made a difference. He talks about when it comes to forming a habit, make it obvious what to do, make it rewarding what to do, and setting up little things. And it's a great book. I highly recommend that book. I find myself using. I've got this thing called the paper cup method about my vitamins that I would continually forget to take. That I'll tell you guys about it at another time. But if we can get our mind, our beliefs right, our mind right, and then set up the structure of our environment. For instance, Rochelle, you said you filtered out the food and replaced the food in the pantry with the right stuff for us.
Right.
Okay. So now all of a sudden, when I'm hungry, I'm not going in and grabbing stuff that's in the pantry that I shouldn't have. So it starts with, well, don't even put it in the shopping cart. And if you do grocery delivery online, don't even click add to cart. Making it obvious what to do.
Well, and sometimes, like with the grocery order online, it makes it a lot easier to avoid those things. Like there's no candy aisle, there's no chip aisle, there's no soda aisle. You don't have to type those words in. You can just avoid them altogether. And the recipe book can be sitting next to you. And if you think, oh, I don't know if I have this, you can check your pantry. And so it saves you money doing it that way too. If you have a grocery delivery option. That can be helpful. I know some people enjoy going to the grocery store, so you don't have to cut that out. But if you're trying to avoid some certain aisles at your grocery store, that's a good thing to do.
Okay, so Rochelle, what about people that they're very busy and they like, man, I don't have time for this food. I don't have time to cook. What are options?
So a few things you can do. So on your weekends, on Sundays, are a good day to do meal prep. And when you look at Jorge's book, he has different weeks laid out, and every day everything is done for you. So all you have to do is turn to page 410 and look at this recipe. Turn to page this and look at that recipe. So you can start by making several meals, like your Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. Here's your snacks. Yep. Here's your, you can start prepping different things, and then Wednesday night do it again. So I like Sundays and Wednesdays to do my meal prep days. That way it pushes me through the rest of the week. The other thing you can do, and when we're in a hurry, instead of going through a fast food and grabbing a burger or something, trust me, we do go out to eat sometimes. We do fast food. We do that terrible Taco Bell, but it's very rare. We try not to, but sometimes you just don't have a choice. But one of the other easy, quick things that we do is go grab a rotisserie chicken from Walmart or from Market Street or from Kroger or wherever you get your food from. Grab a rotisserie chicken and we grab a bag of lettuce and we put together a salad. And it's the chicken Caesar salad usually. It's quick, it's easy, and some people, maybe that's not enough food for you, so you will need a snack later. But if you're in a hurry, that's a great quick thing to grab and go. So
there's,
it's not hard.
For instance, once we've been through that book a number of times,
right.
And it's like, okay, we've got this.
Right.
You knew exactly how to cook and this and that, and even when I'm out and about, I just know. I've got this app on my phone called MyFitnessPal, and I just can like scan the label, and it will tell me how many this or that, or it's got all the different meals from the different restaurants. I'm like, do I have room for this in my carbs or sugars for the day? And if I do, great, I do it. It makes it easy to know what to do.
Well, if you're going out to eat a lot, and you have to, like maybe for work, it's really easy to get a grilled salmon and a bunch of vegetables. Triple your vegetables. And then ask them, how are you cooking this? Are you putting all kinds of like different sauces full of sugar on it? Or are you just sauteing it with some oil and salt and pepper? You just got to ask. And I know that there are some people with heart problems that can't have oils or butters. So, the chef, all you have to do is ask and just say, hey, can you saute my vegetables in water or vegetable broth instead? It's all you gotta do is ask, and most restaurants are very they'll comply to whatever you need. But getting yourself it's 100 grams of meat, so 100 grams of chicken, 100 grams of fish or whatever, and then just triple your vegetables, and that's the simplest thing to do.
Okay, so let's switch for a minute. Okay, Josiah. You're like a metronome. Well, gosh, you're a drummer. You are a metronome. Okay? You are a metronome. You like to keep a schedule. So the big difference that you made in my life was I knew that every day you were going to be expecting me to show up and work out. Okay? Every day. And I didn't want to let you down. I didn't want to let me down, and I didn't want to let us down. So, let's talk about the idea of accountability. Even though, how did that help you? Or maybe it was just you were just like dragging me along the whole time. You're like, I wish Dad would, I don't know. How did you feel about the last year?
Well, definitely at the start, the accountability was really helpful for me because working out 7 days a week, not all the workouts are strength training. And my inclination is to only do the weight training workouts because that's what I enjoy. So having someone who's expecting me to do plyometrics, that's really helpful. And then the biggest thing is not skipping the recovery workouts and the yoga workouts. Because in my mind, I'm like, recovery happens when I sleep. But I think having something that you do every day, that habit, I think even if I were to just sit in the workout room and do nothing for the same amount of time, I think that would be valuable to do just to help me keep that habit of being back in there every single day. So that's really important. And of course, don't ignore your stretching. Stretching is so good.
It feels so good, doesn't it?
I know my dad, he wakes up and stretches every single morning. But stretching is so good. And then something else that's really amazing is foam rolling. It's really painful at first, but it is such an amazing release on your muscles, and that really helps you recover. So yeah, with accountability, man, just sticking through those workouts that I really didn't enjoy, that was really helpful for me.
Exactly. So yeah, there's times, if you weren't expecting me, there's times I may have given myself an excuse not to show up.
Yeah, like yesterday when we worked out at like 10 o'clock at night. Yeah.
A super late. or even on vacation, right? And even now, when I had COVID, we worked out separately.
Yes.
But I'm like, well, I'm not going to break the chain. No way. We're in this, we're in this like 200 or almost 300 days. I am not going to break the chain. Nothing's going to stop me. And so that's it felt good, But so tonight is really about upgrading your life, and I guess this is with a focus on eating healthy and exercise, right? But you can do it once you change your beliefs and align them with your identity in Christ Jesus, and you fix your mind, your thinking about it, like your determination. I'm committed. I've heard people say so many times, well, they're just not committed. Nope, they're just not committed. Well, that's because they don't believe. And once you really believe in something, the commitment comes easy. And you know what? Me and Josiah were like, embrace the pain. Embrace the pain. Yes, we're going to be sore tomorrow. There was a time like, oh no, we're going to be sore tomorrow. But it's like, we're going to be sore tomorrow. That was a great workout, And then it's a complete mindset change. And so you can apply these things to any part of your life, but it's about a belief, a mindset, and then setting up your environment. And my environment was the right food in the kitchen and an accountability partner for working out. Those things were absolutely key for me. And then when I'm out and about, or I'm having lunch with business friends or whatever, I'm like, okay, I'm not going to eat that, not because I'm trying to be good. That's willpower. I'm not going to eat that because that doesn't support the identity of who I am. And friends, when you stand in the mirror and you look in the mirror, okay, and whether you're looking at your physical appearance or you're thinking about your career, your finances, or your relationships, I want you to know this, that your present reality doesn't have to be your identity. Your present reality doesn't have to be your destiny and your future. It doesn't have to be that. Okay? Guess what? Those are the facts. The facts are this. I'm overweight. I'm underweight. I don't have any good relationships, or I have a bad reputation because I've done a lot of bad stuff. Whatever it is, that may be the present reality, but that doesn't have to be your identity. When you adopt your present reality and even better, drag along your past, you're just going to continue in that same path. And another day, I'm going to share with you guys about a morning routine that really was another key ingredient in my transformation. Okay, Rochelle and Josiah, you guys were keys in helping me practically live it out with my diet and my exercise. Okay, but I lost what I was going to say on that.
Your daily routine.
Yes, thank you, Josiah. My daily routine is where my morning routine is where I reshaped my beliefs, and I would take care of my body, my mind, and my spirit in the morning, and I would be so energized, filled with vitality for the day. I'll share that with you guys at another time. Let me see here. So guess what? You can change your direction. You may not be able to change your destination overnight, but you can change your direction overnight. You can make a decision right now. You know what? I'm sick of living this way. I'm sick of this situation. I'm changing my beliefs. I'm changing my mindset. I'm aligning with what God's Word says about me. And guess what? It's going to take patience. The farmer doesn't go out and plant seed and then demand fruit the next day. It takes time. It takes watering. But when you water the roots, the fruit will come. When you see a fruit, it came from a healthy root, right? A healthy fruit came from a healthy root, and your healthy roots are your internal identity and your beliefs. Those are the roots, and when you water those, the fruit just automatically comes. Instead of trying to achieve a goal, be successful, how about let's create habits and beliefs that make the success and health just automatically happen. You see what I'm saying? It's like we want to jump to third base. We want to start at third base, but no, we need to hit first base and second base before we go to third base. Mm-hmm. So, what are some things that Rochelle or Josiah, either one, that you tell yourself? Maybe give an example of something maybe you've told yourself in the past that has been bad that you've had to replace. Anything come to mind?
I did have something related to what you're saying a second ago. I think too many people, they take the saying, go big or go home, and they turn it into go big, and when that doesn't work out, go home.
Ooh,
So
wow.
they start with something, and they do it for a couple days or maybe a couple weeks, and then as soon as they have one failure, they instantly transition back to where they were before. It's okay. I eat things, and I'm like, I really shouldn't have eaten that. But it's okay, because it's not going to set me back weeks or months or anything like that. And it's important that you realize that once you've made that direction change, that even if there are setbacks along the way, you're still going in a different direction.
Well, that's a good point you make there. For instance, when I got down to the weight that I wanted to be at, and all of a sudden there's a holiday or birthday party, I gave myself permission. You know what? It's a day of celebration. I'm going to have some cake. I'm going to have some ice cream, but it's not going to create a new pattern for me. Mm-hmm. I'll have that on the celebration days. The problem is when you start getting the double cheeseburger every day,
right,
and the fries every day. It's a slippery slope because it's so easy. They make it easy to do the wrong thing.
Yep.
So when you clean out your pantry and replace it with the right things, and you have the cookbook and the meal plan that's all spelled out for you, it makes it easy to do the right thing.
I mean, it's not easy, but it is laid out for you, and it is doable. And here's the big thing: don't give up your power. You have the power every time you choose to do something. And like I have to tell myself sometimes, like if I'm gonna do something and I was like, wait a second, that's not who you are anymore. I'm not that old person. I'm not that anymore. This is who I am. This is where I'm going. This is what God has for me. It's bigger that way than what was that way.
Yeah.
And it's so much better to be on the right path and choosing those things and saying, look, I'm not going to do this because that's not who I am. God gave me the power to make these decisions, and I need to make the right decisions and honor Him and not disgrace Him or myself and be like that anymore. Don't give up your power. You have the power every day to make every single choice that you make about food, exercise, relationships, spirituality, all of it. It's all right there. It's your choice. At the end of the day, and some of you guys that have been on death's door before can understand, and people that have never been there don't understand this thought process, but when you think you're going to die of cancer or of whatever sickness or whatever is out there, your whole entire brain goes, it doesn't matter what anybody else says about me. It matters what I think about me. This is where I'm headed. This is where I'm going. This is who I am. This is what I want the world to see of me. This is what I want to represent my Jesus as, who I am now, not the old stuff. And when I lay on my deathbed one day, and I've been there, had to consider all of that, but thinking about dying like tomorrow, what does it all matter if you don't choose right now? Because there's so many times, like there was these nurses that would tell us stories about how the biggest regret people would have was caring too much about what other people thought, and how they didn't do what they wanted to do with their own lives because of what other people thought about them. So don't give up your power. You have the power. You go out there and you make yourself your best self.
That is awesome. You made me think of a couple things. be, being in great shape and being healthy is less about self-sacrifice and more about self-respect. Think about that. It's like, I'm not going to do this because that's not who I am. That's not who I am. You know, and talking about people regretting things. Well, that's one of the things I really appreciate about people that are older than me. As I see that the older people get, the less they seem to care about what other people think. You know, from anything from passing gas in public to saying things that might offend other people. You know, I'm like, dude, they really don't care. That's awesome. They're unencumbered. Not that they're being rude or, you know, any crazy, but so many times we're afraid to, what I would say, live out loud because we're worried about what other people think. And that's a message for another time. But, you know, talk back to setting up your environment. I've got a friend who, we're talking about habits for a second here. He would, you know, he would come home after a long day at work, and he would pull up to his driveway, and he had a refrigerator in the garage that was stocked with beer, right? And so you get home, you know, you're thirsty, you go grab a beer out of the refrigerator and you drink the beer, and what happens is you do that day after day, and it becomes something you don't even think about. It just becomes automatic. And he told me one time, he's like, Jason, I realized sometimes I'd down a beer or two before I even walked in the house. So he made a decision. He said, I'm not buying any more beer and putting it in that fridge. So that's what he did. He took that out of his way and took what was previously easy to do the wrong thing, because the reason he didn't want to drink it was not because, you know, he's against alcohol, but it was causing him to gain weight, and he didn't like that. So he just got it out of his way. He took that obstacle out of the way and replaced it with waters. And so if we can set our environments up, our pantry up, an accountability partner, you know, couple that with the roots of the belief, I guess in a way it's, you know, your beliefs and your mindset are the roots, your support systems, like for me, you, Rochelle, and Josiah are the branches, and then the fruit blooms from there. And it's not rocket science. When you put it all together, it's doable, guys. Don't give up on your dreams. Don't give up on your health. I mean, I'm 50 years old, and I'm just getting started. I'm going out here kicking. I'm not content to go downhill and just to give up. And, you know, it'd be like, you know, trying to run a marathon, trying to breathe through a coffee straw, you know, where you can't hardly breathe. I want to live life, and not just in my physical body, but I want to live life out loud, and I want to make a difference in this world. And that's the thing. I know you want to make a difference in those around you. You don't want to just survive. You don't want to just succeed. You want significance. You want to add value to those people around you. You want to leave a legacy. And whether you're, you know, 16 or 60 or 70 or 80 or whatever age group you're in, get this aligned with God. Get this aligned with God. Okay, that's the first thing. So, do you guys have anything else you'd like to share? Josiah, Rochelle, go ahead.
So a couple things. I think that writing things down and having it physically in front of you makes a big difference in your mind. Because if you write it down, you see that, date it. We have Expo markers in our refrigerator. Is a stainless steel, I guess. And anyways, we write stuff on there so we can see it. Sometimes it's motivational stuff. Sometimes it's just about where we are with our sugars and carbs for the day. Sometimes, you know, it just depends on what it is. You can write scriptures on there. You can write your whatever you want on there. You can also take that Expo marker and write on your bathroom mirror. So whatever you see first thing in the morning. If you don't want to do that, go get some sticky notes, Post-it notes. When I was going through my cancer stuff and I didn't feel good, I sat there and I wrote out every healing scripture I could find on Post-it notes, and I stuck them all over the house. Jason wasn't too thrilled with it after a while because he was like, it's going to ruin our paint. You know, Mr. Painter there. So I had to take them down. But do something to put those goals and put that what you want to be, who you want to be on the inside down so you see it and remind yourself, because if you don't see it every day and it starts to, this whole big like, woohoo, let's go. And that's the kind of person I am. I'm a woohoo, let's go. I'm very difficult to sustain things like those two are. Those two can like, okay, we're going to work out every day, and they just go do it. And I'm like, woohoo, let's go work out. And I work out for a few weeks, and I'm like, yeah, I will tomorrow because today I'm too busy. So I do the same thing in myself, and I have to have an accountability partner. That's why I got Samantha now, so we hold each other accountable for workouts. But anyways, what I'm saying is find yourself an accountability partner. Write down your goals so that you see them, because if you don't see them, they start to fade away, and that woohoo goes away. And when that woohoo goes away, it's easy to give up, and it's easy to forget who God says you are. Look up all those verses. Who does God say you are? Remind yourself, because the devil always tries, and he has really got a loud voice, and he is always picking at you. I know, because he does it to me all the time. People look at me and they don't see that. But dude, I have to tell myself, remind myself all the time, who does God say I am? Because those little voices that go around in my head that beat myself up don't belong there. And I have to make them shut up by filling it with God's word. And that's the only way I can ever get through this.
That's right.
Whole life.
That's right. Josiah, any
Sorry,
closing thoughts from you?
Yeah, just the emphasis that you want to build a lifestyle, not a temporary push for a goal.
Yeah.
Building that lifestyle is so important.
That is good.
It's got to be sustainable too. So
That is good. Well, Josiah, Rochelle, you guys, not to take away from the rest of the family, you guys are all my inspiration. And I just want to thank you for the difference that you've made in my life over the last, especially over the last year. Real quick, before we end, I want to just share with you guys, if you're interested, if you really want to learn about making good habits, this book right here from James Clear is a great book on habits. It's called Atomic Habits. He sets it up, makes it real easy. Okay, the next thing is, this is the Belly Fat Cure book right here that Rochelle is, the cookbook that she's been talking about. And of course, this is the Passion Translation of the Bible. And you may have your favorite translation. This is what I've been reading lately. I read one, then another one, then another one, and I read all the different translations. And so go check that one out too. I have included some links also. If you just want to click on them and check them out, that would be amazing also. But guys, thank you so much for joining us tonight. I hope you found some value. This is for you. This is for you. Live your best life. You've got a lot of life to live. God created you for a purpose. Okay? Don't give it up. Don't give it up. Don't surrender it. Okay? Go out, live out loud. And hey, connect with us online. Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, Instagram, whatever. Connect with us online. We would love to hear from you. And until then, good night. Bye-bye.